So this would be a a really random kind of like thing, because I have a lot of stuff that I want to say, but it's like I don't want to make a separate movie to upload to YouTube for each single one, and some of it I already made it in the past and I just forgot to add a little bit of stuff, or I have updates. So the first one that I wanted to give an update for was the timeshare experience. Finally it went through and we can get our money back. Like, what we did was, because we found out that the Nevada law can let us cancel within 3 days, we sent an email and we also went to the post office like on that third day when we found out right before midnight. We sent the stuff. Oh, and about that, you have to, when you use the kiosk at the post office, the US post office, there's a stamp, a postage sticker, and then there's a tracking sticker. Like, we saw the postage stamp tracker and then we saw the QR code, so we thought that that is what is going to be used for tracking. And on the postage it even have the number for the tracking, but they call us and they said, well, you know what, we deliver it, but we can't track that we deliver it because you didn't put the tracking sticker on. So, but like, my husband and I, we looked at the stuff and we didn't remember seeing a tracking sticker. But anyways, so when you go to the post office and you look at the kiosk, make sure that all the sticker that you can peel out and stick on your letter is peeled out and stick on your letter, and usually there's two. So a lot of cases came up at the post office. This is what I'm told, that where people did the same thing we did, and then some of them, they only put the tracking and they didn't put the postage, and then that got returned. And when stuff get returned to you and you resend it, the letter is considered with a new postmark day. They're not gonna resend it with the same postmark day, even though you did technically send it on that day. It just was returned. So if you need a legal document or something with a postmark by a certain deadline, be very sure that you have the postage and the tracking on there, so that it doesn't get returned. Or the postage. The tracking, if it's not there, you just can't track. It won't get returned. But the postage is the important part. So I digress. But back to the thing. So we kept on sending email, and they kept on trying to call us, but we were really persistent, and we sent email. Right after we got their voicemail, we sent an email saying, we got your voicemail, but we've said multiple times in the email that we will not be accepting calls, and we'll need everything written. And you know what, you do need everything written, because first of all, when you talk to them, I tend to be very emotionally involved, and then I get really frustrated easily, especially when I know that they're trying to lie to me and rip me off. And then secondly, if you have it in writing, you can go and look it up, and then they can't go back on their word, and then you won't get into this kind of like you said, I said kind of like thing. So after I know that they are lying to me, I just cut off phone communication and I say, I need everything written. And after, they wouldn't respond to written. They keep on trying to call, but then you keep on asking and you keep on sending emails, and you're like, when will I get my response? And what I did was, after I sent the cancellation letter or the cancellation email, I actually said, I need a response within 48 hours, and if you don't respond to me, I'm going to proceed with a credit dispute. And that's exactly what I did. After 48 hours, we proceeded with a credit dispute. My husband called up the credit card, and we submitted all paper, all email communication, all or receipt for the tracking, postal service, everything to the credit company. And after like 2 weeks, they finally sent us back a letter saying, yes, we are going to cancel it actually tomorrow. So it's such a relief, but that we won't be, our money won't be going into funding this kind of, business. And I'm very happy that we were able to get out of it. Another good thing that happened was right when we got that email, we got the letter from GVC, which was another timeshare that we waited 6 months on, that we tried to cancel, but then I called them and asked, what, we've been waiting for 6 months, what's going on? And they say, well, the previous owner didn't pay the stuff, so we held it up. And they said, we'll get it done within the next 2 weeks. And they did. They followed through. And we're finally going to have some kind of timeshare. Well, not timeshare. GBC is also a vacation club, so we'll be a part of a vacation club, and we'll be able to start to book vacation and stuff through RCI. So we're really excited about that. Everything went through and turned out to be very good for us. So we're very thankful for that. I was so ecstatic. But yeah, so persistent really paid off, and I really am appreciative of the California Attorney General. When I sent the letter about this what I went through to them, they sent me back a PDF about timeshare, and it wasn't much more than that, but at least I know my letter was read and the content was understood, and someone knows about what is going on. More than that, I was really appreciative of a Nevada legislator. Let me look up her name. Okay, I found it. She is Senator Debbie Smith, and what happened was there's the assistant sent the letter on behalf of her, but basically it said that they received the email and they are actually doing some research on my concerns, and after they get their research done, they'll reply to me. Out of like a lot of senators that I sent the letter to, and I even sent it to the Nevada Attorney General, like she and her kind of committee was the only one who responded, and like made me feel like my concern was valid, and someone took a look and they're actively working on it. So I felt that I felt really grateful to her that someone in her status actually listened to the voice and the concerns of the people. So I wanted to give a shout out to that and tell her how grateful I am. I did send a response saying that I found the Nevada law for membership cancellation. I did it, and I do feel like I have the grounds to dispute. So it's not really a personal thing to me. I don't really need her to defend me in any way or get me back my money, because my husband and I have been working on our own to do that, and we're good now, but I do want her to still investigate and know that this is out there, and there's basically lying to other people too, and they're in business. So thank you, Senator Debbie Smith, and your assistant. Should I say? Well, I don't see why it hurt. Lorene Garcia, she was the one who responded to my email. So I'm very, very thankful. So the timeshare thing is done and over. Hopefully we'll get our money back soon, and then when we get it back, we'll send them all the the extra gifts that we weren't promised for the timeshare presentation for buying it. So I don't want any part to do with it. So we'll send those back, And yeah, then it should be out of our lives and we can move on. So very, very happy right now. The next topic that I wanted to talk about was advertisement. Like through Noah, the advertisement for Noah, like it was it it hits all the right spot. Like I think the people who helped on the advertisement knew what Christians, fundamental Christians, were looking for, and they they show clips that I would agree with. One of the clip that I remember vividly is how when the mean kind of like king wannabe guy came up to Noah and said that something about being alone, and he responded, I am not alone. Like, he's such a good actor, and he actually said it in a very low tone, but it's low and strong, you know? And I saw that in the trailer and I'm like, wow, yeah, that's how I want to respond to kind of like my adversaries, because in my head, well, as a Christian, everyone knows that God is always with us and God will never forsake us. And so even when we're going through trials and problems, we are not alone. And that's our response to affliction. That's how we get through hard times, because we know that we're not alone. And so when an actor can portray that in such a powerful way, it made me wanted to see the movie. But then when we got into the movie theater, right after he said that, those like giant rock, the Watcher, stood up. And so it totally takes away the impact of those words for me. And so that was really disappointing, and I can't really get over it. I felt kind of like betrayed and misled, and I feel a lot of that in advertisement. And it just frustrates me that they would do that to something biblical. They know which button to hit and then to get people in, and then they kind of like do a 180, kind of like smack the person that they got into the theater in the face. Another thing I wanted to talk about was, even before I went and watched the movie, I did like look up reviews, and there were a lot of Christian, or I don't know if it's a lot, but there are Christians who said like, you have to go and see this movie. It's really good, and it's not like, it's not scriptural, and it can be it doesn't go against the Bible in any way. But then like, I don't know why I didn't see the article where the director himself said this is the most unbiblical portrayal of Noah in all movies. So I don't understand how the Christians can mislead all the Christians so much by making these reviews. And yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why they would say, oh, go see this movie, it's very biblical, and the director, or I'm not sure if it's the director, but someone who had a like true say in the movie said that it's very it's gonna be very, it's not gonna be biblical, you know, very the least biblically made movie. So I wish that they could, you know, I don't know if they get paid to do this. They they show the trailer and they talk about it, and they even, some of them said that they were advisors for the movie. So it's really concerning. And after like after the experience, I knew, like, I can actually see how Christian who professes to be Christians can be so far away from the truth. Like, it's really saddening to think that. I mean, before, I know that there are people who professes to be Christian who aren't what they say they are, and that's just a fact of life. There are people who say something but they're not that. But to actually experience it, it's sad. And yeah. Well, the other one was during the Noah screening. I actually saw Hercules, the trailer, and it's so weird because, like, right before that we saw God's Not Dead, and Kevin Sorbo, he was in it. So I was totally thinking, oh, they're coming out with Hercules, and then it turned out he wasn't Kevin Sorbo. So I got all sad, but that was just a little bit something. I wish, like, Kevin Sorbo still looked young. He still looked like Hercules, how I remember him back then. So it's kind of sucked that he wouldn't star in the movie. But I guess Hollywood wouldn't want to put him in there. Another one was, I also watched My Love from Another Star, and in one of my earlier videos, I talk about how I met some new friends. Well, I call them acquaintances then, but they are actually friends now. We actually hang out quite a lot, and what happened was we went to karaoke, and they when they found out that my husband and I are getting married, they sang to us "Marry You," which I was kind of offended with, but I kind of just let it go because I thought, you know what, a lot of people, they probably don't listen to the lyric. Unlike me, I prioritize lyric over melody. So if the lyric is bad, even the melody is good, I refuse to listen to it, and I want it out of my head, like, right away. Sometimes it sticks, but I try to push it out, like, as soon as I realize that I'm humming to it or something. But so what happened was they sang it, and I was a little bit offended because I didn't think that song was good. It had it places marriage and the decision to marry on a very, like, light, in a very light kind of way, kind of like a one night stand almost. You can get married feeling tipsy, and then you can just divorce the next day. It's basically the attitude behind the movie, I mean the song, which is not my attitude towards marriage at all. I feel sacred, and it took me like 9 years to finally come to, like, a commitment saying, like, you know, I'm going to get married and I'm gonna stay with this person. So, you know, like, that's a very heavy decision for me, and it kind of offends me that some people take it so lightly, and especially I think God doesn't want it to be taken lightly either, because it doesn't just affect two people. It affects, if you have children, the children. It affects society as a whole, and it affects your extended family, your whole family, from both sides. So and friends too, not to mention that. But so but then I watched My Love from Another Star, and it's like they went through so much together, and it's such a good love song to be at the end ruined by her dancing to and singing to the song "Marry You," which it blew my top off, because I mean, I just I'm like, what? I mean, these people are in the music industry. Yeah, it's a hip, trendy song, and people sing to it all the time, but can you not see that it doesn't fit with your love story? I mean, they made the movie that much less meaningful just by that clip in there for me. And I wish that, people are more aware of what they're listening to, of what they're putting into movies, and don't just go along with it because everyone else is doing it. Like, kind of study what it is that you're trying to convey and look at it from look at it to make sure that it doesn't go against what you're saying or what you believe. And don't be afraid to be the person who doesn't like something. I mean, people can say that you're picky and you're nitpicky and this and that, but you know what? At the end, whatever you listen to, whatever you let into your brain can transform your thought and heart and action and character. So I wish that didn't happen in the movie. So that kind of like, it's kind of like a sense of kind of like wrong advertisement, because even the people who made the movie or the song themselves, they're like, you know what, we made this song kind of like a Las Vegas kind of feel, and then people hear it and then they kind of like just made it into a wedding song. And people, I mean, some people who are aware of it actually post on Yahoo like, dude, this song is not really suitable for wedding songs. You shouldn't be playing this at your wedding. So I'm glad that there are people out there who are more similar to me, but I hope that more people can be more aware of what they're listening and putting into their head, and kind of like look at the lyrics. Yeah. Oh yeah, and one more thing about the timeshare. I actually went. I talk about how that was a very tiring day for my husband and I, and so I actually captured him snoring, like just 2 seconds after we say goodnight, and I'm gonna play this so I can have it. Okay. I think that's all I wanted to talk about.